Good morning, everyone. Please stand in honor of the national anthem. Thank you. You may be seated. Good morning and welcome. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be here with each of you today. I'm Julie Byerly, and I have the honor of serving as president of Geisinger College of Health Sciences and dean of Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine. Today, welcome to our 2026 Medical Doctor Commencement Ceremony. This is the 14th graduation of our medical school. I am joined on the stage by the leadership of Geisinger, members of the Board of Directors, the College Executive Committee, a distinguished alumni, and representative faculty and staff. We also are so pleased to have our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Thomas Lee, here with us. In the crowd, we have many friends and supporters of our school, as well as more faculty, staff, and students. Thank you to each of you for being here today. We are so excited to celebrate with you our 2026 School of Medicine graduates, and especially the loved ones here with you. This ceremony is for you, students and loved ones. To prepare our hearts and minds for the joy, pride, gratitude, and commitment I hope we each experience during the next couple of hours we have together, I invite you to join me in a moment of reflection. For me, the students know I love reflection. For me, reflection starts with a deep breath, grounded in the acknowledgement of all that had to happen for each of us to find ourselves together in this place at this time. That includes a lot of hard work and abundant good fortune. Graduates, today marks a huge leap in your journey from learner to healer. Think back when you started, see how far you have come, and know that today we hope to lift you up along your way. Loved ones, today is a day of recognition and pride regarding those accomplishments that your loved one has achieved. We know you are here to support their achievements, and we celebrate your joy and invite that joy and pride to wash all over you. Faculty and staff, our ceremony today connects your work of the past with the promise of the future. Thank you, faculty and staff, for all that you did to propel this transition, and also for the fact that you keep doing it over and over and over again for the benefits of the learners that have come before and who will come after. What we're here to do today is symbolic. It's a ritual that, if we do it right, creates a peak moment in your trajectory, a moment that you can reflect upon the rest of your life. It makes me smile to recall another peak moment with this class, the moment of our white coat ceremony almost 4 years ago. I love, from the view of the stage, noting the difference in presence between the white coat ceremony and graduation several years later. I can see the growth in confidence in the way you walk across the stage, in your eye contact, in your handshake, all that occurs in your maturation with us. Like that moment, we elevate this moment as a marker in your education. We ritualize this moment with pomp and circumstance because we want this memory etched in your mind forever. When you need a lift of shared pride and purpose, surrounded by support from colleagues and friends, let this moment be with you. When you need reminding of your competence and our confidence in your competence, see a vision of this full auditorium and recall how it feels to hold your head high, balancing that cap on your head. We hope to make a moment of pride, of meaning, a collective experience of goodness that celebrates all we hope for each of you and the patients who need you. We are proud of you. We have great hopes for you, and we need you. In this moment, we share all this together. And now, as we embark upon our ritual and ceremony, it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium one of our greatest community champions, Ms. Virginia McGregor, Chair of the Board of Directors of the Geisinger College of Health Sciences. She also serves on the Geisinger Health Board of Directors and the Quality Committee and the Geisinger Affiliate Boards, in addition to chairing the Geisinger Family Committee. In addition to her role at McGregor Industries, a family-owned business in Scranton, she serves the community in many other ways. Like our system's founder, Abigail Geisinger, Virginia focuses her tremendous efforts not just on the needs of today, but in cultivating generational benefit, making things better than she found them for all. She is a fierce champion of both the city of Scranton and its crown jewel, our medical school. We're grateful for her empowering leadership. Welcome, Ms. McGregor.
Well, thank you, Dr. Byerly, and congratulations to the family and friends here with us today. This moment belongs to you as well. And most importantly, congratulations to the class of 2026. You have worked hard for this, and you have earned it. And today you will join a community of physicians shaping the future of healthcare. You are also graduating in a remarkable year. 2026 is America's 250th birthday. So 250 years of building this country, and physicians have been at the heart of it, serving their communities, developing new technologies, and most importantly, bringing those innovations to their patients. Major advancements include the development of antibiotics, including penicillin, vaccines, standardized medical education, and high-tech innovations such as pacemakers and organ transplants. Geisinger has led the way in advancing healthcare since its founding in 1915. And our story is one of innovation making communities better. Within a year of opening our doors in 1915, Geisinger physicians were already conducting research into diabetes and heart disease. From Dr. Harold Foss, our first surgeon-in-chief, who pioneered surgical techniques and designed medical devices that are still in use today, to MyCode, one of our country's largest important genomic screening programs. Geisinger has been at the forefront of innovation. We have leveraged the extensive use of digital technologies, AI, and telehealth, and now it is part of your everyday delivery of excellent care. Advancing the future of medicine has been the priority of Dean Byerly and Dr. Terry Gilliland. It is part of a long tradition here at Geisinger. And look no further than the founding of our school. Doctors just like you who came together to found the Geisinger Medical School just 18 years ago. In this School of Medicine, you were taught to think critically, to see the whole person, and to never stop asking how we can make things better. But answering that question is only half the work, because the innovations do not matter if they don't reach the patient. The research doesn't matter if it doesn't make someone's life better. Someone has to carry what we discover into the exam room, into the community, and change patients' lives, and that someone is you. Here at Geisinger, we don't just talk about responsibility, we build for it. So in 2022, the Geisinger College of Healthcare Sciences was born. It now brings together nursing, genomics, and health that make education stronger and care more complete. These programs exist because Geisinger has always believed that innovation in the classroom is just as important as innovation in the clinic. And that belief shaped the education that you received. So go out and carry this with you. You are not just doctors, you are part of a tradition of innovation that stretches back more than a century at Geisinger, and 250 years in the life of this nation, a tradition of asking how we can do things better and delivering that answer to the people who need it most. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, we wish you every happiness and success. We know you will not just be good doctors, but great doctors. Congratulations to the class of 2026. And now we will hear from the president of the class of 2026, Trenton Husick.
Good morning, and welcome to our family and friends, community members, honored guests, faculty and staff, and of course, the graduating class of 2026. It is truly an honor to speak on such a special day, to reflect on our journey, to thank those who have helped us reach this very moment, and to celebrate all that lies ahead. It is hard to believe that 4 years ago, we began this journey together. It feels like just yesterday we were sitting at the Medical Sciences Building, anxiously preparing for our very first exam. Some of us were learning how to manage an entirely new workload. Some of us were bracing for Friday quizzes we weren't quite ready for. And some of us were still figuring out how to study, let alone study for the exam. As the first exam approached, many of us shared the same quiet thought. How did I get here? Surely there must have been a mistake, or the admissions office got something very wrong. Our shared thought must have been received by faculty, because I remember all too well, as many of the graduates probably do as well, when Dr. Solzinski offered words that still carry with us. To paraphrase, he told us, "I have read every one of your applications. You deserve the seat you are sitting in, and although you may feel like an imposter, I can assure you, you are not." And here we are, 4 years later, every one of us who once questioned whether we belonged has earned a seat here today at graduation as physicians. While this journey demanded countless hours of work and sacrifice, as well as resilience, none of us did it alone. We have had great support during each phase of medical school, helping us get to this very moment, cheering us on every step of the way and sharing in our achievements. To the administrators and staff who dedicate their time to ensuring we receive an exceptional medical education, thank you for your unwavering support and for helping us fulfill our dreams of becoming physicians. To the faculty who guided us through the early years of medical school, thank you. Thank you for believing in us from day one, for your patience, your encouragement, and for building the foundation of knowledge that carried us into our clinical training and will support us for the rest of our careers. To our clinical educators, attendings, residents, advanced practice providers, nurses, and the rest of the hospital staff that welcomed us into your teams, thank you for your guidance, your mentorship, and yes, allowing us 30 minutes of OR time to close the same surgical site that it takes you 30 seconds to close. Thank you for allowing us to care for the sick under your supervision, to allow us to develop our bedside manner, and for the amazing experiences that certainly shaped us into the physicians we are today. And to my classmates, thank you. This experience was defined not just by what we learned, but by who we shared it with. We leaned on one another, learned from one another, and formed friendships that will last a lifetime. And as we move forward, I want to leave you with one final reminder. Being a medical student in the clinical environment is not easy. We quickly learned that while our education is important, patient care must always come first. But we have had those experiences that made a profound impact from when residents or attendings paused to teach, to explain, and to include us. Those moments stayed with us and they shaped us. So as we step into roles as residents, I challenge each of you to be the teacher you once hoped for. Take a moment to involve the student standing quietly at the edge of the room. Share your knowledge, make them part of the team, because as we all know, those small moments of teaching are the very moments that medical students remember most and will shape their medical school experience. Class of 2026, I have no doubt that each of you will go on to do extraordinary things. Thank you for an incredible 4 years. I cannot wait to see the impact that you will make. Congratulations. It's now my pleasure to introduce our alumni speaker, an Abigail Geisinger Scholar, and now a member of our faculty, a person who embodies the School of Medicine mission, Dr. Tara Avery. Dr. Avery is a member of our School of Medicine's class of 2021. She was in the very first cohort of Abigail Geisinger Scholars and today is a dermatologist at Geisinger Medical Center in Danville. She pursued her medical degree here at Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine and also completed her residency at Geisinger Medical Center in Danville. Welcome, Dr. Avery.
Thank you, Trenton. Good morning, everybody, or maybe I should say great morning, because what a great morning it is. My name's Tara Avery, and I'm a member of the GCSWM graduating class of 2021, Abigail Scholar, and now board-certified dermatologist for Geisinger. It's such an honor to share in and be part of this momentous day for you all. When I got the email from Chris Boland asking if I would give the alumni address, I immediately read it, and I thought, that cannot be right. Chris said they had texted me, but I hadn't answered. I asked what number they had on file, and it was one that I had never used. So I thought, Oh yeah, definitely not right. Chris has reassured me that I was in fact who they intended, but I regret to inform you all that imposter syndrome is unfortunately alive and well. About 5 years ago, on May 2nd, 2021, I was sitting outside at Mount Airy Casino in a large tent on a beautiful spring day. I was sweating beneath my face mask, and my classmates were seated at socially distanced intervals with their 2 allotted guests throughout the tent. That was my med school graduation. Today looks very different, and thank goodness it does. It's hard to believe that 5 years have passed since that day, and nearly 9 have passed since I entered medical school. I was a fresh 22 years old when I moved to Scranton. I lived right behind the school on Adams Avenue, just a short walk from the back gates. I felt so mature at the time, but in retrospect, I cannot believe how young that was. When we decide to pursue a career in medicine, we're committing ourselves to a years-long journey. We embark on this journey young, fresh, maybe a little naive. On this journey, we may find out that this path that we envisioned was not as flat or linear as we thought, encountering unexpected curves, branch points, and rocky terrain. Travel companions that may start with us may not finish with us, and others may only overlap for a small while before they go their own way. We lose our naivete and start to realize just what we've gotten ourselves into. At times, it is so overwhelming that rather than seeing the end goal, we're only able to look down at our feet and focus on each individual step. At times, you may have wondered why you chose to embark on this journey in the first place. I know I certainly have. But I want you all to take a moment and reflect on what you have been able to accomplish so far, which is a lot. You've graduated college, taken the MCAT, you got into medical school, which is big in itself. You studied, and studied more to pass step 1, shelf exams, and step 2. You did this while working long hours on your clinical rotations and getting hands-on experience. You painstakingly worked on your CV, personal statement, and put your best foot forward in interviews to match, and you're now heading into the next phase of your life, residency. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the other accomplishments that you weren't necessarily scored on during medical school. Maintaining a social life, fulfilling family duties, volunteering, making time for hobbies, taking care of your own health. Maybe you got married or had a child or 2. Maybe you lost a loved one or dealt with an unexpected illness. Maybe you took a gap year or had to take a temporary leave of absence before returning to finish what you started, and yet here you are. Each one of you has accomplished so much just to be where you are sitting today. Do you realize how much life you've lived in the last few years and how much more life you're going to live in the next few? You're all at one of the first major finish lines of your careers, and for that, you should be tremendously proud of yourselves. The reality is that while you're crossing one finish line, you are soon coming up on a new starting line, a new set of hurdles in residency, more studying, more testing, and ultimately passing your boards and maintaining your license. This is what it is to be a lifelong learner. The lessons that you'll learn over the next few years in residency are more than just medical knowledge. You'll develop your interpersonal skills, how to better communicate and collaborate. You'll be faced with difficult situations where you may not have all the answers. You'll get comfortable being uncomfortable and show up ready and willing to learn and work despite this. During all these trials, you'll also find a way to keep living life outside of medicine just as you did in medical school. None of this is accomplished without significant effort, hard work, and personal sacrifice. If there's one thing that I have learned in my medical training, it's that you do not have to be at the top of your medical school class or in the 99th percentile on your exams, but you need to have grit, resilience, and heart. Even before medical school, I had a dream of becoming a dermatologist. Like many of you, I spent time working in the ER as a scribe prior to medical school. When I was asked what specialty I might want to go into, I said, dermatology. The doctor that asked me actually laughed, and he said, I hope you're a genius. So in response, I am certainly no genius, but what I am is extremely stubborn. I'm sure some of you have seen and identified with this quote, I will succeed because I am insane. And I truly think that that is the attitude that you need to have. On a more serious note, there was another mantra that stuck with me during residency, and I want to impress upon you all as you embark on this next phase of your journey. I am not afraid to let them see me try. Growth can be uncomfortable and scary. Remember that it's okay to be wrong every now and then. Humility goes a long way in learning. If you assume you know everything and you can't admit to yourself when you make mistakes, you'll never reach your full potential. This past June, I completed my residency at Geisinger. I took my dermatology boards 3 weeks after having my first baby, so shout out to my daughter, Violet. I started my first big girl job, thank you, thanks. I started my first big girl job as an attending in October, fully sleep deprived and flying solo for the first time, but here I am today with all of you. A few years ago, you would have dreamed of sitting where you are now. Remember all that you've accomplished and know that you're equipped to face whatever may come next. You are all tremendously bright, talented, hardworking individuals, and you're going to go on to do some really amazing things. I wish you the utmost luck as you enter this exciting new phase in your career. Congratulations. Now, please welcome to the stage Geisinger CEO, Dr. Terry Gilliland.
Well, thank you, Tara. Welcome and congratulations. Dr. Byerly, staff, faculty, and guests, it's a pleasure to be with you today. And to our graduates, it's an awesome day. It's an honor to be here celebrating this milestone with you. I know each and every one of you will carry what you've learned and experienced here at Geisinger with you. I'm also hoping that you'll carry forward our broader definition of health and medicine. It's what happens not only in our hospitals, in our clinics, it happens in our college and at home, and also in our communities. We want to lead healthcare forward, and we're counting on you to do that. I'd also say always strive to be your best. It's your moment to be the best physician, the best teammate. Be an avid learner. Lifelong learning expires never, and the changing environment will be as soon as next week or even tomorrow. So what you've learned in these last 4 years will be something that you'll want to continuously update. Finally, speak up, but also know how to listen. Use your ears and your mouth in proportion. Know that when you're talking, you're also not listening. Above all, your oath today commands, place your patients first. Each and every time, each and every day, it's a privilege, it's an honor, it's a noble profession to be a physician. You're invited into people's lives at times of great joy, great intensity, sometimes great sorrow, and yes, sometimes moments of great ambiguity. Finally, make us proud. We're counting on you. I know future generations are in great hands as the class of 2026 begins the next chapter of its journey. We're proud of you, how far you come, and we're eager to see the impact you have. Congratulations and best wishes. I also have the honor today of introducing a leader who has shaped healthcare as we know it today and also into the future. Dr. Tom Lee is someone who doesn't just navigate complexity, but also helps the rest of us make sense of it. It's especially meaningful to welcome him back to Geisinger today as an organization he's helped guide and strengthen for 21 years during his service as a board member. Tom spent his entire career advancing what matters most: better care, better experience, and a better system for patients and for clinicians. As Chief Medical Officer of Press Ganey, he has helped evaluate and accelerate the national conversation on patient experience, quality, and safety. Tom has helped shape national dialogue through his years in service as editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine Catalyst. He's written hundreds of articles, multiple books, and has challenged all of us to think differently about healthcare's toughest questions. How do we bring order to complexity? How do we build trust and social capital? How do we create systems worthy of the patients that we serve? At his core, Tom is a physician. He's an internist and a cardiologist who continues to practice medicine as recently as yesterday morning before he drove here. He stays grounded in patient care at the Brigham and Women's, one of the storied institutions in U.S. healthcare. He's also educated generations of leaders through his roles at Harvard Medical School and the T.H. Chan Harvard School of Public Health. His career reflects a deep belief that great systems are built by people who never lose sight of the patient in front of them. We saw this firsthand during his service on our board. He brought clarity, perspective, and a relentless focus on doing what's right for patients. He pushed us to think bigger while staying grounded in our mission. And his influence is reflected in how we continue to evolve as a system. At a time when healthcare is under extraordinary pressure, Tom's career is a reminder that progress comes from aligning purpose, evidence, and humanity. Tom, for your contributions to medicine, to healthcare leadership, and to improving the experience of care for patients everywhere, including here in Pennsylvania, we're grateful for your leadership, proud of your connection to this organization, and honored to celebrate you today and to present you as a candidate for an honorary degree.
Dr. Lee, on behalf of the Board of Directors of Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine, the faculty of the school concurring, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medical Arts, honoris causa, and invest you with the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto. In token thereof, I will hand you this diploma, which you do not have to hold the rest of the ceremony, and I will direct you to be vested with the appropriate hood from Dr. Gilliland. Now I invite you to share with us your keynote address.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Byerly. Sitting on the board of Geisinger, I understood the transformative effect of this medical school on this region, on Geisinger, on healthcare more broadly in this country. But until this moment, looking into the eyes of the 111 graduates, I didn't fully grasp the transformative effect that this medical school has had on your lives. That's the big transformation. This is one of these bifurcating moments in your life. There will always be before and after. And I have the last few minutes of the before phase of your life. And I want to tell you in this moment that as wonderful as this moment seems, the best really is yet to come. Our times are so difficult in so many ways, but the fact is that you are lucky. We are lucky, and for those of us working in healthcare, we're in the best possible field. Even though you may not feel that you have fully mastered medicine yet, you are ready to do great things. Just 2 weeks ago, my younger brother, Rich, who is a physician, and he's also a very accomplished scientist, a student was asking him, what are you most proud of in your career? And was expecting to hear which of his, scientific advances, gave him the most pride. And he paused and he thought about it, and he said, to be perfectly honest, what makes me most proud are the moments where I've taken care of someone who was very sick and very frightened, and I've made them feel that they were not alone. AI is not ready to do that, but you are ready to do that. In the long run, you are going to find that there is nothing as great as doing work that makes you proud and doing it with people that you like and that you respect. Medicine gives us the chance to have that magical combination, good work and good people every single day, in every single interaction, if we grab the opportunity. The work is really hard. You already know that. But I'm going to share with you what I think is the real secret to success in life. And the two words that I'm hoping that you'll remember from these last few moments of the before phase of your life is social capital. Yes, I'm talking about something that sounds like wealth, but I'm really talking about something that is real wealth. Let me explain. Now, capital is anything that gives you an advantage. That's the definition of capital. Financial capital are the money, is the funds that enable you or organizations to do things that you otherwise couldn't do. Human capital are the people with the right expertise that enables you to do things that you couldn't otherwise do. Social capital is how people interact with each other and with their infrastructure, including their IT and so on, technologies that enables you to do things that you otherwise couldn't do. There are currencies of social capital, just as there are currencies for financial capital, and they're all things that we appreciate. Trust, teamwork, psychological safety, where you can speak up and point out when things could be better. My belief is that every clinician, every manager in healthcare should see themselves as being something like the chief financial officer, the CFO, for social capital, for the network of people in their lives, their patients, their colleagues, their families and friends, their networks too. You will be more successful and you will enjoy life more if you approach the building of social capital with everyone in your orbit with the same intensity and discipline that the CFO of Geisinger brings to financial capital. Now, I know that some of you are thinking that money is real and trust is lovely, but it's something squishy and soft, and this is a pep talk of some kind. It's not. First let me point out that money is not actually real. Think about cryptocurrency for a second and don't take any more time on it. Money is an idea. It's an idea that was created to lubricate interactions. If we didn't have money, we would have to barter. I had 6 eggs, you had a hammer, and we wanted to make a switch. You would want 8 eggs. Everything would take forever. Money lubricates interactions and enables things to move more quickly. So does trust. If you're in a group where people trust each other, things move more quickly. It is a lubricant every bit as critical as money. It's actually more critical than money because you can get money from the outside. No one can give you trust except you and the people you work with. Now, a simple goal for the teams that you work on, personal and professional, is you want people to say yes to each other without needing to know the details. That's a phrase that you should remember and that you should go for. I first heard it when I started my internship long ago at Peter Brent Brigham Hospital, and in the first week, my senior resident, Arnie Epstein, said to me when I asked if it was okay for me to cover someone when they went out to sign their rental agreement, he said, look, there's a tradition here. Interns never say no to each other. You don't ask for something that you don't need, but when someone asks you for something they need, you say yes. Now, we had 24 interns in our group, and not every single person got it. There were 2 of them that didn't really behave that way, and we are still talking about them to this day. But the other 22, they did. And, we did say yes to each other without needing to know the details. And, there are good reasons to do this with your patients, with your colleagues, with your family and friends. My colleagues, at Press Ganey, my day job, we have an overwhelming amount of data that shows that good things really do go with good things. It's not wishful thinking. When patients say that they are treated with respect they say the communication was better. And when they say the communication with doctors and nurses are better, and we adjust for all the diagnoses we can adjust for, we find that their outcomes are better. They bounce back to the hospital and the ED less often. They actually even have shorter lengths of stay in the hospital. What it shows is if you have good relationships, people work better with you. Now, one of my favorite nuances of these data analyses is that, yes, there is a good correlation between these outcomes, including length of stay, with the clarity of communication from doctors and from nurses. But there is an even stronger correlation between how patients rate whether the doctors and nurses were listening to them and treating them with respect. It's like 3 times as strong listening as opposed to being clear as you were talking. And when I saw these data, it dawned on me that I might be doing my best work with patients when my mouth was shut and I was showing that I was listening. It's very much like that Maya Angelou quote. People may not remember what you said, but they are going to remember how you made them feel. This is important for the interactions in your personal life, with your team members, with your patients. It's important that you build real relationships and that's how you build trust and teamwork and social capital. Now, I know everyone here wants those things, but it's one thing to be in favor of them and grateful when you have them, and it's another thing to be tough-minded and disciplined about building them. Let me bring up some lessons from my family's culture. Now, I was born and raised here in Pennsylvania, down in the Philadelphia area, Media, Pennsylvania, but my parents were immigrants from China, and the influence of Confucius was prominent in our upbringing. Now, for those of you who don't know, Confucius was a philosopher who lived about 2,500 years ago in China. And I really do feel that philosophy is very relevant very similar to improvement in healthcare. Philosophy is about the study of what does it mean to be good? How do you struggle to become better? And it's an endless struggle. You're never there. And it is a very noble thing about the human condition that we want to be good, we want to try to be better. Healthcare quality is like the same thing. What does it mean to be good in healthcare? How do we struggle to be better than we currently are, knowing that we're never going to get there? It's a really noble thing. Now, a lot of Western philosophers, they emphasize rules. Like, Immanuel Kant is the best example, and he famously said you should never lie. Even if it would save someone's life, lying is wrong. Now, not all philosophers agree with that. And Confucius in particular, he said that he was concerned about rules because he said that life is complex and it's tough to come up with a rule that is the right thing for every situation, just like it's tough to come up with a quality measure that's the right thing for every single patient. But what Confucius did believe in was the power of rituals. Now, rituals are relevant at these frequent, regularly identifiable moments in our lives. And at those moments, we behave with 100% reliability as if we are the way we should be. That's the key phrase, as if. For example, if you want to make respect something like hand hygiene, something that characterizes every interaction that you have, you adopt rituals. An older person walks into the room, you stand up as if you're respectful. A patient is lying in a bed in a hospital, you find a chair and you sit down at their level as if you're respectful. The clerk is sitting at the desk, you say hello to them, you learn how to pronounce their name the way they want it pronounced, as if you're respectful. They do something for you, you say thank you, as if you're respectful. Now, Confucius wasn't trying to turn you into being a hypocrite. There were 2 key lessons from Confucius that I hope you'll take away. One is that he believed that if we behave as if we are the way we should be, at 100% of these ritual moments, it hones your instincts So we are more likely to be that way in the gray zones that make up life in between, respectful and other ways. The other thing that Confucius believed, the other second point that I want to emphasize, is that he believed that the real beneficiary of these ritual moments is you. If you behave more nobly, you will feel more noble. Now, I think he's right, but I think it's a testable hypothesis, and I would go ahead and try treating everyone you interact with today, tomorrow, during the first days of your training with respect. Not just the doctors, but everyone, the nurses, the other staff. And I think that you are going to find that they give respect back to you and that you are going to go home feeling better. Now, Confucius isn't the only philosopher who felt this way. Edmund Burke, the Irish philosopher from the 1800s, he's famous for saying that manners are more important than laws. Laws just tell you what you cannot do. They only come up every now and then. But manners, he said, are like the air we breathe. You breathe in, you breathe out. And how we behave in those every single day moments they dictate what kind of people we're going to be. That's what Edmund Burke wrote. He says, are we going to be kind or are we going to be cruel? Are we going to be generous or are we going to be selfish? Deciding what you want your manners to be, that will dictate how good you feel about life. I think as you go out into the world and take care of patients and take care of your colleagues and you take care of your family and friends, you're going to find that the best way to take care of yourself is to build your social capital. Be like the CFO. Build your relationships. Adopt the right norms. Be willing to speak up when someone doesn't adhere to those norms, and welcome feedback when you yourself fall short. Be like the CFO for social capital, and you will accumulate a type of wealth that money cannot buy. This isn't wishful thinking. There's a ton of data that supports these ideas, but I think you know these things to be true. Common sense tells you they're true. You would not be where you are today, choosing the field you're in, if you didn't know these things. So I would just say, run with them and use them with the same reliability that Confucius and Edmund Burke would recommend. So my recommendation for this moment, the last seconds before you cross over to the other side of that bifurcation, is turn to the graduate on your left and turn to the one on your right and promise each other that you will always say yes to each other without needing to know the details. And you will be that much farther into the work of building social capital and thriving throughout a great career in the greatest work that anyone can do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee, for that inspiring message. It is my pleasure now to call upon Dr. Jennifer Kessler, Associate Dean of Medical Student Education, to present the candidates.
Dr. Byerly, I have the distinct privilege and honor of presenting the recipients of the degree Doctor of Medicine. These individuals have satisfied the requirements established by the faculty and have been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Directors.
As president of Geisinger College of Health Sciences and dean of Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine, upon recommendation of the faculty and on behalf of the Board of Directors, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree Doctor of Medicine. We grant all rights and privileges and honors pertaining thereto and congratulate you fully. We now turn to the degrees earned in course. And as the graduates process individually across the stage, Please note the special stoles, cords, or medallions that some students have chosen to wear if they remembered. First generation to college students might wear a blue stole. Medical research honors program graduates with distinction might wear a medal on a green ribbon. Abigail Geisinger scholars can wear medal on a white ribbon, and our 3-year graduates in the Abigail program will wear a blue and white ribbon. Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society members will be wearing green and gold cords, while Gold Humanism Honor Society members wear gold cords. Graduates who have participated in our Reach High or Center of Excellence programs are wearing a gray stole. These are all denoted in the program as well. These awards were celebrated previously. The candidates now will be individually called by Dr. Kendra Boel, Associate Dean of Medical Student Affairs.
Thank you, Dr. Byerly. Will the Doctor of Medicine graduates please approach the stage to receive your diplomas and hoods as I read your names? Joseph Abu-Ayash. Nitesh Agarwal. Emily Lynn Allen. Hannah B. Anderson. Devin Appel. Grant N. Badger. Damian Gonzalo Balboa Cespedes. Guadalupe Macarena Barco Garcia. Giovanni Battistini. Jennifer Beck. Sean William Biagiotti. Tyler Matthew Belinsky. Alexis E. Blackburn. Veronica Nadine Bowl. Madison Joanna Brooks. Thomas Ryan Burkert. Marina Casey. Courtney L. Chambers. Daniel James Cheston. Jeswyn J. Chethlin. Anant Chopra. Ryan J. Clark. Adam David Cole. Christopher Combatus. Shane Conklin. Kristen Mary Deniston. Nithya Deshmukh. Grace Marie DeBilio. Matthew Charles Zutta. Maya Eicher. Grace Morgan Engel. Camille Jan Valkowski. Jacob Thomas Feibush. Maria Sakmite Figueroa. Alexandra Gaifman. Morgan Blair Glasser. Alexander Indy Greenstone. Dominic John Gregorio. Bailey T. Hadlick. Madison L. Hadlick. Matthew Hamers. Robert Hojan Hahn. Emily Harrison. Nicholas Haynes. Marina Amos Carroll. Morgan Louise Hughes. Justin Gregory Hunter. Trenton John Husick. Delphine L. Wynn. Lakshmi Ilango. Abdul Majid Ayun. Gideon L. Johnson. Cameron Hollis Jones. Colleen G. Jordan. Janani S. Kanagasundaram. Mark Capron. Robert Keebler. Brittany A. Kemp. Ara Corleone. Julia Patrice Kuzer. Jaeger Kubikisha. Erica Kuo. Aiden Lagian. Naomi Lantigua Reyes. Katie Lee. Kristen Lickner. Kevin James Lynch. Julia Wingyun Ma. Christopher D. Manco. Julie A. Marchioni. Andrea M. Martinez. Tomas Martinez Granada. John Patrick McDonald. Eric W. Miller. Reva Mullock. Jeffrey Sungjae Munn. Abigail Barbara Norwillow. Arpitha Pemula. Jaitan Q. Diana Quijano. Anitza Quintero. Jessica Ravenscroft. Olivia Lauren Roberts. Nathan M. Roshak. Emily Carolina Rubio. Jordan C. Salvato. Patrick Cerullo. Vincent Angelo Scalcione. Luke A. Schurz. Emily Olivia Scott. Christina Schaffern. Maria Simone Shaw. Alec David Scomo. Gina Tallow. Francis Warlaño Tawia. Tanner Thompson. Jason Tinsley. Tracy T. Tran. Frank Louis Vasquez. Jefferson Waters. Benoshi Wirakoti. Hannah Ray Woolley. Samuel K. Wyman. Kevin Shu. Lauren Yoakum. Annie C. Yu. Alexandra Rose Udiski. Congratulations to our Doctor of Medicine graduates.
Congratulations. Congratulations to all of our graduates. And now for the concluding parts of our ceremony, we will have our graduates recite an oath, committing them to their work in science and service. The words of the oath are found in the program. And all physicians here today, all physicians in the audience, all our new physicians, of course, and all physicians on stage are welcome to stand together to join in the recitation of the oath, recommitting each of us to our science and service as well. It's our tradition to have the oath administered by a faculty member chosen by the graduating class. And the class of 2026 has asked Dr. Tony Gillott to administer the oath. Dr. Gillott.
Okay, graduates, can you please stand? And you'll find the oath in your booklet there. Let me just say it's been a real honor to be able to do this with you, so I thank you. Today I commit myself to the calling of medicine. I stand beside my teachers in devotion to the care of the sick, the promotion of health, and the service of humanity. I am privileged to be a part of my patients' lives. I will abandon my prejudices to walk with them on their journey through life and its pivotal transitions. I will hold sacred the bond with my patients and guard that which is intimately shared. I will collaborate with my colleagues in the best interest of my patients and society. I will strive humbly to admit mistakes, make amends, and forgive others in acknowledgement of our common humanity. I will use intellectual curiosity to water the seeds I've been given and cultivate the growing tree of our medical knowledge. I am grateful for the family and community that have brought me to this day and will honor them in the fulfillment of this oath. I will hold myself to the highest standard, maintaining and furthering the ethics, integrity, and noble transitions of my profession. I will be a doctor, a student, and a teacher beyond the confines of the bedside, in my community and in my daily life. In doing so, I will always cure sometimes, relieve often, and comfort always. Congratulations, and I now call you doctor.
Now it is time for all of us to stand together and sing our alma mater, as led by the Geisinger School of Medicine group, the Heart Murmurs. The words of our alma mater are found in your program, and after the conclusion of the alma mater, we ask the guest to stay at your seat while first the stage party recesses, followed then by our new doctors. And we can all gather in the lobby and spilling outside after the recession. Thank you.
May her roots reach valleys deep, raising the promise we will keep. Geisinger planted, now we reap. We will grow, our voices hear. Arise, stand tall, colleagues by our sides, with our communities as guides, for just a purpose proud and kind, as we carry her name on. Arise, stand tall, in the name of better health. Arise, stand tall, for our dear old Commonwealth. Arise, stand tall, in the name of better health. Arise, stand tall, for our dear old Commonwealth.